My dear brothers and sisters, today we are called to reflect upon the theme of the Mass, and the day is Welcoming Heart of Jesus. What is this welcome? And what does Jesus welcome you to? As we ponder on this, I want to ask you, are there times when one bad thing happens after the other in your life, and you say, I can't cope up any longer with these stuff, with everything that is happening in your life, and you feel like depressed, and you think, what is next going to be? A natural reaction to all of us is, enough is enough. I will stop. You want to stop. You want to detach. You don't want to do anything further. It could be about your personal life. It could be about your career. It could be about your family. You don't want to do anything with the family. You don't want to take up anything new or any responsibility. And it could be about the community, the larger community. Why would I want to do it, and why would I get into these troubles? So you want to give up. You want to stop. And sometimes it also happens you feel safe and secure at that moment, and you feel everything is going fine in your life. And suddenly something props up, unpleasant and untoward happens in your life and disturbs your peace and tranquility. It is in these moments Jesus is extending or comes with an invitation, a welcome. Come to me, all you who are heavily laden or burdened, and I will give you rest. Heavy loads of all kinds of burden are one kind of or other. Maybe it could be economic burden in your life. Maybe your finances are very low and you are struggling to meet both ends. It could be your mental agony. Maybe you're feeling guilty about something, or there are some fears in your life. Like, for example, Corona can get you into a lot of fear and anxiety, what is going to happen. And all of us are going through this. And it could be something social burden, like, about leadership role. You're doing a leadership role. You're heading an organization. You're steering something, and then you would feel that way. The burden is very heavy. Spiritual burden, guilt of sin, as St. Paul would say, do's and don'ts, I want to do things, good things, and I end up doing bad things. So what is right and what is wrong? So these are the areas of burden that we all have. And Jesus gives rest to all kinds of people. I can remember, because the first thing when I came to understand this Bible verse is in my first appointment as young parish priest in 1992 in Pamaru Parish in Krishna District, Diocese of Vijayawada. You're made parish priest right away, because Joseph Thuma did not wait for anybody like the bishops are waiting now. He thought we need a lot of workmen, workforce, a lot of laborers in the vineyard, and then he just plunged them into the work, and then we were new, and it was very difficult. And I took up one parish festival, what is called fiesta, parish fiesta. For 15 years, this parish did not celebrate the festival. And I went to every villages, did the renewal programs as a new priest, and then organized this festival, and then tomorrow is the festival, and today there comes heavy rain. You know how it feels, like young man doing everything for the Lord. I felt that I was doing a lot for the Lord. I was trying to give Him glory after 15 years, opening up the churches, reviving, renewing, and Bishop is coming, and today we want to tie the flags. Those days we tie a lot of flags And the whole ground, the school ground, we wanted to have it because a lot of people are going to come in thousands. We're going to have the drama and everything. So comes the rain, pouring rain, and I felt. I went to the church and just said to the Jesus, what are you doing with me here? I'm trying to do something good for you, great for you, and you don't seem to appreciate. So finally I come to an understanding, okay, whose festival it is, whose fiesta it is. It's after all, it's his. So why should I? Because in the beginning I thought it was all for the Bala's work. So now I come to understand it's not my work, it's his work. Then let him take care of it. So I come to understand, come to me all you who are heavily laden and I will give you rest, and take up my yoke. I didn't understand that for a quite while, but then I understood. So it's for me to surrender everything to the Lord, because ultimately I told Jesus, who is going to be shamed? It's you. So that's what detachment is all about. When problems come, we all get detached, right? About our kids, about your kids, about your work, about Divyavani, everything. I got so many times detachment. Because that's what life teaches us, detachment, and that we are not in control and somebody else is in control and we want to take control. So I surrendered and I slept that night. Anyway, the pouring rain, early morning it stopped. It was continuously raining. And all came and tied the flags, and then we had everything ready till evening is the mass. Everybody came, all people came. We had the mass, then we had the drama, that time that Jairaj was doing the dramas. He's a great artist. And after the drama is over, then again started pouring rain. So that's what it means to surrender. So this is what was burden. It was my burden, but afterwards I understood it is not anymore my burden. So Jesus gives rest, but on one condition. You believe in Him. He says, you put trust in Him. Yes, we all have these burdens. Like St. Paul had one burden. Romans 7, chapter 7, 18 to 19. St. Paul says, I want to do good and end up doing all the time bad things. Because a lot of times we think we can do positive things, we can be great and we can do good things. No. This is what is called meekness, littleness, and depending upon God. Being humble doesn't mean passivity, no. It's being proactive, but at the same time, proactive in the sense of believing and trusting. So then Zacchaeus had also his burden. He was not accepted by the society, he was hated by the society, he was a small of stature. So nobody appreciated, and he felt guilt for all the evil that he has done. And now Jesus takes away that burden. Jesus' invitation has two parts. One is come to rest. The second is take up my yoke. Come to me, but come to me in faith. That's why we have in the Bible so many places. Mark 5:34, daughter, your faith has made you well. Rise up and get up. He says to another person, Luke 7:19, your faith has healed you. So your faith has made you well, because I can give you rest provided you believe in me, you trust in me. That is the reason I think Saint Faustina was told by Jesus, anyway, you paint this picture and beneath you sign it, Jesus, I trust in you. Because this is what is lacking today. The temptation of today's world and all of us is to be self-independent, self-dependent and independent, and to control things, to control the world, to control everything. And what happens today with Corona, one thing we're not able to control. The whole world is out of control. So my dear friends, it seems you need to have that faith. There is a story of the birds on the wings. The birds first, they said, these wings are burdened. How can we fly these two wings, In addition to my body, these wings. And then they stopped believing that they are a burden and they started believing. Then they flew. My dear friends, the background behind what Jesus said is do's and don'ts of Jewish religion. And because of do's and don'ts, there was a lot of guilt because I could not do, as St. Paul would say. Same thing, we feel too. The lack of sufficiency in our lives. That lack, that inability. Frustration, because I want to do perfect and it is frustrating you. I have a lot of plans and every time something fails and I have my frustrations, so many frustrations every time. In fact, when we started about Divyavani last 16 years back, I made so many plans, so many designs. Everything is frustrating at the end of the day. So you make a new design and you get dissatisfied with yourself and with life and everything around you, with the people around you, with your husband perhaps sometimes, with your wife sometimes, because you want to do perfect things. You don't want to do imperfect things. And there were 365 prohibitions and 250 commandments, total 615 rules in Jewish religion to follow. So how rest is possible? And that is what brings us to the second part. Come to me, I will give you rest, Jesus promises. But the second part, take up my yoke. What does that mean, taking up? It's a call to intimacy. Come to me, take up my yoke. It's a call to intimacy and fellowship. That's why John 15:5 says, without me you can do nothing. And this is true, my brothers and sisters. It's about partnership with Jesus. It's about relationship with Jesus. Unless you have a relationship, and I can tell you this very loudly and clear, that unless you have a relationship with Jesus, you are not going to perform, you are not going to succeed, you are not going to take up the burden. Otherwise, life is a burden. So first is called to intimacy. Second is called to discipleship. I will give you rest provided you become my disciple. Take up my yoke. Learn from me. You have to become a disciple to learn, the attitude of a learner. Learn from me to be gentle, to be lowly, and to put others first and yourself last. To be servant of one another. Take up is a proactive process. It's not a passivity. Because, my dear friends, submission and passivity is not what Jesus is expecting you to do. My dear brothers and sisters, so call to intimacy, call to discipleship, and call to team up with Jesus. Discipleship also is about teaming up with Jesus. And what does that mean? So, my dear friends, once it seems there is a story of the team of oxen, and I know it because my father is a farmer. There was a huge ox and there is a small bullock. They were tied together with the yoke to plow the land. I know it because I went to the fields. Usually that's what they do. For example, they bring a new calf to train with the old one. And then if there is a strong bullock and a weak one, they put the stone on the plow towards this side of the strong one and then plow it so that the burden is all falling on the strong ox. Unequal animals, but putting weight on the ox. Same thing happens when you team up with Jesus. The benefit of it is that you share in joy and accomplishment of the labor of Jesus. I just was reflecting upon this and thinking, what did the saints do? Like little Teresa, she teamed up with Jesus and then she overtook us. A lot of us who are working more than St. Teresa of Child Jesus. This is the truth, this is the secret. What is the secret of that oxen is, it's a teaming up with Jesus. So, you need to learn to team up with Jesus and then we can share the spoils of Jesus. And that's what is all about saints. Because saints are people who are performed very less, who are people who are not the biggest people, but they teamed up with Jesus and they are big now. That's what it is. My dear friends, he calls us to serve, but to serve in the strength which he gives. That's the secret. Otherwise it becomes a burden when we take over. And it is like refusing to trust in Jesus' goodness. So today God is calling us, welcoming us. He's a welcoming heart, and He wants to give us rest, provided you believe in His goodness. And He's calling us to discipleship, to fellowship, friendship, and to intimacy. And He's calling us to team with Him.